Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to try to keep this video super short and sweet. I want to show you what is on the kids' iPad. So this is something that I get requests about all the time. Like, you guys hear me talking about how both of my kids use their iPads, but like what's actually on it? What games do I let them play? What apps are on their iPads? So I'm gonna literally like do a little iPad tour for both Riley and Jackson. If you happen to be new here, first of all, welcome. Hi, be my friend, stick around, subscribe, all of the things. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've got Jackson, who is 3, and Riley, who is 5, and I share my life here. So I'd love for you to be my friend and, you know, stick around. I do vlogs and stuff, so you guys can maybe watch some of my other videos. But this, like I said, is something that I've been wanting to share for the longest time. Like, I share a lot of the toys that the kids play with, but the reality is that they do spend some time on their iPad. There is legit a light that is flickering and it's gonna drive me nuts this whole time. So I hope it's not super distracting in this video. But anyway, I'm not opposed to screen time. I've shared that very much on my channel. My kids, for the most part, they don't spend a lot of time on the actual tablets. I try to limit it as much as I can to about an hour to an hour and a half for Riley, who's my 5-year-old. Jackson, if he's lucky, he gets maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day on the iPad, but that's kind of more rare. I do try to keep the iPad usage, the tablet, up close, in your face usage to as little as possible. So like, they'll get their iPads if we're going on a long car drive. So this is definitely what keeps them entertained. If we're going to a restaurant, yes, I have no shame in like every once in a while bringing these with us. Not that they use them all the time, but sometimes like it's kind of like a last resort. Like if they're being wild, here you go, I'm gonna eat my food. No shame in my game, I'm not opposed to that. But then Riley also gets her iPad during her quiet time. So Jackson still does a nap during the day, and then when Jackson is doing his nap, I give Riley her iPad and she gets to do quiet time and she plays her games, she watches anything that's on here. So that's really the bulk of like when they get their tablets. Every once in a while, Jackson will wake up from his nap and he's like, I want to play on my iPad. So then if it's a particular day where I'm like, okay, fine, let's just give you the iPad, then he gets a little bit of that time. But I do think that tablets can be used in like an educational capacity. I do feel like they can be very educational. So I'll show you what's on here and just some of my thoughts on the iPad. I definitely am not like perfect when it comes to iPad usage. I'm sure that there are things here that I can maybe go changing. So like one of the biggest things is that as the kids have gotten older, so like as Riley has gotten older, there's things that I used to allow on her iPad that I no longer allow on her iPad right now. So if you're new here, you know, we're a Christian family, we're a Catholic family, and so there are certain things that I want to make sure that my kids don't have access to, things and topics and themes that I feel very passionate about protecting my children from, in terms of like things that are not age appropriate for them. Again, they're 5, they're 3. I don't want them to have access just to the internet to like, you know, look, even if they knew how to. Like Riley doesn't know how to yet like surf the internet, but I don't want them to have access to like everything, right? I want to make sure that we're monitoring it and that anything that's here is stuff that, you know, I feel comfortable with, is like what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not opposed to iPad usage, but in the same token, you don't get access to everything. You can't play whatever game you want. And I want to make sure that what's on here is stuff that is age appropriate and things that I want for them to be able to watch. So we're gonna go through Riley's iPad first. The first thing I wanna say, this is an iPad. The only other tablet that I have had for the kids is, I think I once upon a time ago got like an Amazon Fire. I wasn't a huge fan of it. So what we ended up doing is, I think Riley's iPad we bought new, and then Jackson's was like a hand-me-down. This is like Joe's old iPad that, you know, Joe went and got an upgrade, and so Jackson got his old one. I haven't even bothered to get him like a kid case. I should actually update that so that he at least has like a nice case like this one. This case has been amazing. We have never had to replace it. So I'll try to see if I can link the case that we have for Riley's iPad. Like, I swear, it's been the best. All right, I'm gonna try to balance you guys on Jackson's iPad so I can show you guys what is on here, and we'll just quickly like go through some of these apps. We're gonna start, I guess, some of my favorites that, like, Jackson has this one on his iPad too. These Beanie Boo games are really, really good. Some of them have like free versions and then you can upgrade. So I think we have at this point upgraded